What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the P&L show. Sorry, we didn't record last week. Something came up, emergency, so we couldn't really find a day in the week to record it. But here we are again.
Yeah, so don't worry, guys. It's not that we're quitting already, right? Yeah. So we got an interesting topic, a topic that's been on a lot of people's minds the past few weeks.
Well, first I feel like we should say spoilers, or are we gonna include? Well, I feel like we have to include spoilers if we're gonna go into detail because we're gonna talk about Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So today. As the title of this episode, you probably will already decide for yourself whether you want to tune in or not. But we will be talking about the Rise of Skywalker. And we are going to mention a lot of stuff that happened in the film because both of us have watched it. So we're going to go pretty into detail about this film. So if you are someone that hasn't watched the film, I recommend you tune in later when you've watched the film.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, you have been warned.
Yeah, so don't be like, guys, spoil it for me. Okay, so first off, I felt like I wanted to read these as soon as we started because it's the critics' reviews of the movie. 55 Rotten Tomatoes, 7 out of 10 IMDb, and 86 Fandango.
Wait, what was the first one?
55%.
55%. Damn, that's pretty low.
So which one are you closer to agreeing with? 55%, 7 out of 10, or 86%?
The 55.
What that low? I know you said it was meh, but I didn't think it was that.
Yeah, the movie was just a huge meh for me.
But why though?
Well, first of all, the movie didn't really give me any sort of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just felt, a lot of it felt rushed. It felt kind of forced. Because, a lot of what this movie ended up doing was trying to fix what The Last Jedi was. Because The Last Jedi was kind of really disappointing for me, too. It was just, the only good part was when Yoda came out.
Yeah, that's the scene where he's talking to Luke, right? Because he's gonna burn down the tree or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, that scene was nice.
Yeah, but it's just, it felt like everything was so rushed. They were just I'm gonna put this storyline for Rey.
Mm-hmm.
They just put together, they just threw in Palpatine. Yeah. He wasn't even set up to come into. They just kind of took a story out of their ass and said, this is how Palpatine's here.
So out of 10 though, what was your rating overall?
Probably a 6.
6?
A 6. Probably even 5.5.
Oh my God. No. Hold on a sec.
Legitly, it'd probably be a 6.
I would go as far as to give it a 7.5. But that's only because
of the visuals.
No. Because I don't know a lot of the Star Wars lore stuff. So I know if you know that, to anyone who goes really into detail, this movie was just straight up whack. But since I just watched all the other movies and I don't really read into all that stuff or even watch the Disney Rebels show, all that crap, I felt like it was good. I don't know. I liked it. The Palpatine thing, that's the one thing, that I was kind of I kind of would have liked better if Snoke had stayed the bad guy and, I don't know, make him be ultra OP and then Rey battles him and Kylo at the end or something. But since they killed him off last movie, they're gotta throw this motherfucker in and shit. But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, that was what threw me off in The Last Jedi also, that they just decided, hey, Snoke, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even really learn about him at all. We were just okay, this is the new, quote unquote, Palpatine.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's dead? Just like that?
And then, what's it called? Yeah, I feel like everyone was, especially when The Force Awakens came. No, at the end of Last Jedi, too, I feel like everyone anticipated, a huge battle with Kylo and Rey at the end. Just them two. But then they added Palpatine, and I feel like that's what made this movie worse, just because they threw him in, but he didn't add anything at all. And I feel it would have been more epic if, they just had a huge battle between them two, and then obviously Rey would have won. And then, kind of like at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting, that's a long lightsaber fight, but it was sick.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like that, but it wasn't anything like that at all. So, I mean, fuck it, I guess, bro.
You know what I really hated about the Rey arc, though?
Mm.
Like, they made Rey to be this sort of like perfect warrior. Like, for some reason, all of a sudden, like, she has the Force, no training at all.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, has all this like OP shit.
But what's OP though that she has?
Well, I understand the whole like you can be a prodigy and like you can be gifted with the Force,
Mm-hmm.
but Rey never even knew she had a connection
true.
to the Force.
That's true.
And all of a sudden, wapa, I got the Force. I'm the best.
Well, I don't feel like I know when before the movie was even released, J.J. Abrams tweeted something like they're gonna show a Force power that was never in any of the other movies and that some people won't like. Was it the healing thing? Or was it the teleporting thing where like she drops
The Force connection?
lightsaber? Yeah,
I actually thought that was cool.
that shit was sick. Huh?
That was cool. I think the healing was like
I was just
it was
like,
overused. It was definitely overused. Like I was like, okay, so I guess we're just gonna heal everything that happens
pretty
now.
much. Yeah.
I'm just like, because in a way for me, that kind of just felt like they were using that one Force power that Palpatine talked about, where they were able to, what's it called, manipulate the midichlorians in the Force to create life, and that's so okay.
Was
so,
that from like the prequels?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the thing is, Darth Plagueis, I think it was Darth Plagueis. He learned how to create life from the Force. He learned how to manipulate the things called the midichlorians, and then Palpatine had learned how to do that apparently too. And that's why I was like, so is that what Rey was doing by healing? Is that what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just manipulating the Force to create life that was damaged and is now being brought back?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I was confused.
I don't know. I mean, that's why I thought it was okay, but yeah, the only problem I see with that is that you can just heal everyone at that point. Even at the end, I don't really want to talk about the end yet, but at the end with the Kylo and Rey thing, you can literally just basically bring someone back from the dead, my guy. Like, how's that even possible?
Yeah, that's why I was saying that concept of, because it's supposed to. Well, actually, I don't know if it's only a Sith power, but like they made it seem like it was something you can only learn from the dark side of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, okay, so I don't really understand. Are they using that concept, or is healing separate from that? But the way they talk about it, that ability, is that it just feels like that's what it is.
So is that the big thing that people were saying? That this movie fucks up the lore because of that whole thing?
That was one thing that I was thinking about, because I was like, okay, so she learned how to create life, so that could be where I could see why people would say it fucked up the lore.
Well, I know one thing I disagreed with was, well, first I want to ask you, where would you place this in all the movies?
Bottom two.
Bottom two.
Yeah.
Which one's the worst one?
Probably Last Jedi.
Oh my God. For real?
Yeah.
Of all the movies, all of them, all 9. No, bro. You cannot tell. I specifically watched Phantom Menace for this moment. I rewatched Phantom Menace. You cannot tell me that shit was more hyped than this fucking movie, my guy.
Well, for me, the most hype moment in Phantom Menace would probably have to be when Darth Maul was fighting, because I like the soundtrack.
Besides that,
Well, so for the second one, Attack of the Clones,
mm-hmm.
the problem with that movie for me was all the interactions between between Padme and Anakin, because it was kind of cringy.
It was forced, my guy. Like, no one was like hyped for that shit.
That was in terms of dialogue, I would probably put Attack of the Clones like bottom 3. But the most hype part for me in Attack of the Clones was like the ending,
mm-hmm.
where like all the clone troopers come out, because clones are the shit.
Really, I can't believe you just said that.
And
that it
then
doesn't look-
the homie Yoda fights Count Dooku.
that's true.
Count Cuckoo.
Count what? Poo poo?
No,
Is that what you said?
no, Count Cuckoo.
I was like, Count poo poo. Who the fuck is that?
And New Gun Ray.
I don't think I would place this movie that low though. But I'm saying, well, yeah, it's maybe just because I'm a casual.
Well, for me, definitely, in terms of like the bottom, it'd be Last Jedi, probably the worst for me.
Of all of them.
Of all of them, yeah. And then it'd probably be a tie between probably Phantom Menace and then, I don't know, it's hard. Because Last Jedi is for sure the worst for me. Because it's the one where I just felt like I'm wasting my time in this theater right now.
See, this is the moment that I wish we had cameras. Because everyone can see how I'm looking at you right now for just saying that nonsense.
Oh, actually, I think we should mention that. So we do plan on filming the podcast soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're just, we have to mess around because we do have the cameras to do it. We just have to set everything up. But we didn't have the time to do it this week. Hopefully by next week we can try and do something.
Yeah.
But back to the Star Wars.
Okay. Because, yeah, I told you I rewatched Phantom Menace, right?
Mm-hmm.
That shit is the most boring shit. I don't know if it's because it's heavy on the lore, and that's why, because I know some people, like, don't really mind, like, a bunch of just dialogue and lore. But, and I mean, I don't really mind it that much either, but I don't know, there was just, most of the movie, they were just talking about, like, trade and taxation, like some trade got wrong or something like that. I like lost track of what the fuck they were talking about.
It had,
I don't know how
one of
that,
the best soundtracks though.
That's why when you said that, I expected you to be like Phantom Menace is probably the worst one, then Last Jedi or something, but you're like Last Jedi is the worst, and I'm like, wait a second. Have you rewatched Phantom Menace recently?
Not recently, no.
Oh my God. Rewatch it and then message me and then you'll change your mind, my guy. Trust me.
It depends. I don't know, to be honest. Like, I could probably say Attack of the Clones would probably have the cringiest dialogue because I don't know why they were so awkward with each other. And then I still think Last Jedi is the worst. Well, because with Phantom Menace, I mean, still the best soundtrack.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Fuck.
Well, I don't know. Like, if I really think about it, yeah, there was a lot of dialogue, way more than like from the other ones. But the action in the end is what makes it for me. It's kind of what makes it up. It's like because, you know, Qui-Gon dies, Obi-Wan cripples Darth Maul. He doesn't kill Darth Maul, not yet.
He chops him in half though.
He doesn't die though. How
is that possible?
See, this is where the lore comes in. Because if you haven't watched the anime series, you would say Darth Maul died on Phantom Menace, but he didn't. He actually survived.
He dies.
He doesn't die.
He got chopped though.
He didn't die.
Is it because of that midichlorian thing or whatever you said?
No, I don't remember why, but it does have something to do with the Night Sisters.
Oh, okay. I know who they are. I played Fallen Order. That's the only reason I know. That's the only reason I know who they are.
Those are older Night Sisters compared to the ones I'm talking about.
So, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Revenge of the Sith.
Unbelievable, my guy.
What? The most action?
That's like sacrilege, though. Everyone always says either Empire Strikes Back or New Hope. It's like always everyone's top.
Empire Strikes Back was pretty good.
But you're saying Revenge of the Sith is number one. What's number two? No, don't mess us up, Pebs. Don't mess us up, please.
Okay, so this is where it would get hard for me. Let me think. If I really think. Number one for me would be Revenge of the Sith. But that's because I was exposed to that movie so much. Like, I even played the video games.
Oh, the PlayStation 2 one?
Yeah, the PlayStation 2 one where you're actually able to fight with another person. Like, that was legit.
Yeah, it was.
And apparently that game came out before the movie came out, so you could already know what happened.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I thought it came out after the same time.
So that's fun fact right there. But number two,
just go down all of them, bro.
Probably.
I think I wrote mine down.
It probably would be Empire Strikes Back because of Darth Vader. It'd be between Empire and maybe New Hope. But New Hope, just because that's where like, actually no, Empire Strikes Back #2. Because I like seeing Vader choke everybody. I mean, he chokes a lot of people in the fourth one too. Like that's where he's like, I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot about like Solo and Rogue One.
Oh no, we're not including those, bro.
Because I was gonna say, actually, those are probably the worst ones.
Yeah, those are bad.
Rogue One.
Solo was bad, bro.
Solo was bad. Solo was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And what's it called? And Rogue One. The only cool thing I found about that movie is Darth Vader.
The ending was kind of cool. Well, when they blasted the planet they were on and basically got nuked.
And then Vader destroyed the ship.
Yeah. The whole ending was cool, basically.
Yeah. But like, I was like so disconnected the rest of the movie.
It's better than Solo.
Yeah. Solo was like, Solo was a
Solo.
test. So when I went to see it in theaters, Solo was the movie where I was like, I'm about to see like if anyone reacts to Darth Maul, because Darth Maul came out in the end.
Yeah.
And then all the people that heard be like, what? I was like, okay, y'all haven't seen the anime series.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Because
yeah,
that's how you would react. If you hadn't seen the anime series, you'd be like, what? Darth Maul's alive?
Well, doesn't Solo take place before Phantom Menace?
No.
It's after? I don't know. Look at the way this guy looked at me.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
Who's the main character in the Solo movie?
Solo, my guy. That's what the movie's called. Solo.
And Han Solo, during that time period, in the Solo movie, I just told you, Darth Maul is still alive. And in that movie, he comes back.
I thought this was like before because he was still alive.
No.
It was because of that whole thing that I'm a noob and you said you have to like watch the animated series to know that he gets like revived or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I assumed this was before because he's dead. He's dead in Phantom Menace, all right? For the casuals, he's dead.
It's before A New Hope. This movie is before A New Hope. It's like between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope.
Oh, okay.
Because this is explaining how Han ended up being who the person he was, like the adventures he had, like when he met Chewie. So that also is a hint that this was after Revenge of the Sith because of the Wookiees being imprisoned.
I feel like Darth Maul needs his own movie. I always thought he was pretty sick, but they don't show, like, Phantom Menace is cool, but you don't see enough of him. And then they have him at the end of Solo, and it's hype because he's like, meet me at Dathomir. And that's all you see.
Well, do you know he actually fights Palpatine?
Darth Maul?
Yeah.
And he loses.
Of course.
Why, though?
Because he's weak against the dark side himself.
Who would win, Darth Maul or Vader, though?
That's interesting to ask.
There you go.
Because,
Never thought of this.
well, Vader was powerful, like in terms of like his lightsaber swings were really heavy. So he was able to easily like disarm Jedi. But what crippled him is like his metal body. So he wasn't as fluent as if like Darth Maul, where he would be like flying all over the place.
That was sick.
So that's where it'd be interesting. Like if him being that agile would play a big role in their fight.
Well, that and isn't Vader like ultra strong in the Force too? Like stronger than Maul, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Maul was more of a fighter. He wasn't really focused in his Force abilities compared to like Vader. Vader was like, I'm gonna
just choke him all, and then he's gonna be like, and pass out. Well, anyways, back to this. Back to the list. I'll tell you my list real quick. It'll probably disappoint the fuck out of you, but and I mean, I gotta change some of this because I made this like right after the movie, and now I'm like changing my mind on.
There was a couple lists where people put Revenge of the Sith on the bottom. I was like, damn.
What? Well, yeah, I don't think I should read my list then.
I was just like, damn. Okay.
Okay, it's. Oh, fuck. I feel so because now you make me intimidated.
I'm not gonna judge you.
I know, but you know all the lore and shit. So to you, it's like this list is you're gonna be like, God damn.
Well, I don't know everything. Like there are some stuff, like there's some holes where I've not filled in the gaps yet. So I still need to like go and figure those out. But I know more than just the basic movies.
Okay. So New Hope, Force Awakens. Like,
I thought Force Awakens would have been your first.
well, I was like, when I made the list, I was like, maybe Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, Last Jedi, Clones Menace.
Oh, I was like, Clones Menace. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Well, Attack of the Clones, then Phantom Menace. Because the third one's sick. Of all the prequels, that one's the best one. Because, like,
Oh, yeah.
there's a good
100%.
amount of action on that one. Like, that one's good.
And the dialogue's not cringy. Except for the part where Anakin's like, you are so beautiful.
What is it? What line is that? What part of the movie?
It's a part where Padme's, what the fuck am I saying today? Where Padme is on the ledge in like their apartment, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and she's talking about how she wants her baby back at home in Naboo, and then Anakin just looks at her and he's like, "You're so beautiful."
Oh, God. No, the worst line in that movie is, damn, when he's about to flip, right before he chops off his legs, Obi-Wan chops off his legs, when he's like, "You underestimate my," but that was so badly delivered, and that was supposed to be probably like his most intimidating line, and then he gets his leg chopped off, and that's it.
Dude, that whole scene is a meme now. It was been a meme for a while. Like people always make fun of like, oh, I have the high ground. Like there's a video on Twitter I saw the other day of people recreating it as a TikTok where Obi-Wan they're on an escalator at like the mall, and then Obi-Wan's like taking the escalator, but he's already like high up. He's like, "Don't do it, Anakin. I have the high ground."
Oh.
Or no, he says it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. And then like they actually dress up like the characters, like they're cosplaying as it. And then the guy on the bottom is Anakin. He's like, "You underestimate my." And he just looks at the escalator and he just gets on it.
You didn't like The Force Awakens that much, though?
It was cool because, like I told you, like before, it was interesting just to see them try something new. But I was also scared because I was like, oh, I hope they don't fuck this one up.
And they did.
It wasn't that bad. It was okay.
What?
Like it wasn't game breaking for me, but it wasn't horrible. I didn't think it was a meh. I was just like, all right, let's see where this goes.
I feel like people are giving Rise of Skywalker too much shit. Like it's good for just if you watch the movies, like the other ones, because obviously it has a bunch of throwbacks. Like, did you catch that part where like I think it's the end when she's trying to get back up because like Palpatine just shocked her ass or took her soul or something. I forgot what the hell he did, and she's like calling out to everyone that uses the Force, and then you can hear Qui-Gon,
of course I heard that, dude.
Anakin, all those fools. I was like, damn, don't tell me that wasn't hype, my guy.
Yeah, but that was probably the only time I felt emotion.
No,
during the movie.
don't say that either.
Because I was like, hell
I was about to say
yeah,
another part that I was
the
like,
homie Anakin,
you hear that?
Mace Windu.
I don't know about that guy. He was all right. I never really liked Mace Windu, but that's
fucked up.
no, not for A.
How dare you do my boy Samuel Jackson like that?
But then I was gonna say, you said that was the only part that got emotion out of you. Is that what you said?
It was one of them because, like, at least that I can remember.
What? I feel like the most important scene
no,
in the movie.
you know another part where I got emotion because I was like laughing at my head when he yeets Kylo off the cliff.
Oh yeah,
It's
he
like,
just sends him flying.
Like after the theater, we were just talking about it, how like, because we were making the joke where like, oh, Palpatine's back, he might get yeeted again off like probably the Death Star or something. But then like we see Kylo get yeeted.
That will get sent flying, my guy.
I'm like, I'm ready to see the memes about the yeet.
He's like tosses him. Huh? The other scene is one of the most important scenes in the movie where like Kylo
with Han
talks to
Solo.
Han Solo.
I didn't feel that anything.
That scene was good. How are you gonna tell me it wasn't? Because he's been frustrated this whole time.
You know where I felt actual emotion?
Tell me.
When Chewie had to hear that Leia died. You know why? Because he had to watch everyone around him die from the homies, the old gang, and now he's the only one left.
That's true.
Except R2 and 3PO, but they don't fucking count because they're droids.
Fuck them. That's true, huh?
So he had to watch. He watched his best friend die, and then he watched his other friend die, and then
His
Luke
best friend, he
too,
watched his best friend's wife die.
and then he had to suffer with Luke too. So what was the other moment you were like, this moment got me? Besides the Han Solo and the Chewie.
Well, those are the only moments. It was supposed to be the Leia dying, the Han Solo part, and well, just the end, the hype of like all the Jedi's being like, "I'm here," whatever. But that Han Solo scene, bro, you can't tell me that shit didn't at least make you tear up a little bit.
No,
Cause he was, cause
like
I don't know how to
legit.
even explain how emotional that scene was.
Like, I'm not even like trying to mess with you. Like, legit, I didn't feel anything when I saw that. I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I kind of saw that coming. I was expecting them to somehow try to have him make amends with Han,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was like this whole time on all three movies, he was always like, didn't know if he wanted to be good or bad. And then Leia used the last of her power, whatever, the force, I don't know, to reach out to that fool.
and
And
be
then-
like, "What's up?"
Basically. And then obviously he felt that. He felt her die, I guess. So he was like, oh, like it finally got to him. That I feel like her dying was like when he was like, I lost both of them now. And I killed my dad. Like I'm the one that killed him. And now my mom's gone. So that's why he relived like the memory that was haunting him. He's reliving it because the same dialogue, everything. It wasn't like a ghost. It was literally just his memory of that moment coming back, like in full form though, because obviously he sees him. So he's just like touches his face and everything. Like I was tearing the fuck up. I'm not even gonna lie. And he's just like, I don't need this saber anymore. But he already messed up though, because he killed his dad. But that's when he's like, I gotta help her now because I don't want to lose Ray too. Because I guess he liked her this whole time because they kiss at the end. But
Dude, that threw me off. I was like, no, like stop it.
yeah, for real, I was like, I don't know, we're like never in any of these movies did they show any interest in each other. And now they're like, fuck it, we kiss.
Well, let's just fuck right here already.
Yeah, pretty much for in front of all those people that were right there. And then, yeah, that scene was just, I was tearing the fuck up.
What, with them
I'm not-
kissing?
No, no. That scene, I was just like confused.
I was so like, what?
Yeah, but well, the kissing scene, I was confused because I thought Finn was gonna tell Ray he liked her. He never said anything.
Yeah, he didn't.
Because when they're sinking, that's when he's like, I always wanted to tell you something or something like that. And she's like, what'd you want to tell me? But he's like,
Nah, forget
yeah,
it.
yeah. And then so I expected at the end for him to say something to her. Nothing
Admit
ever
his
happened.
feelings to her and everything.
So I don't know if that's like he did that on purpose and it'll be some deleted scene shit or what, but
Well, I mean, this is the last movie, so we will never know.
and then he dies. He kisses her and dies. But why does he die?
Well, I mean, because I guess he exchanged his life for hers.
Because she died, right?
He died, yeah.
No, she died. Like she had
Who?
died or
Oh,
she
Ray?
was she was
yeah,
dead.
yeah. And then,
But why did she die? That's what I didn't understand. Because she was just walking up to Palpatine with the two sabers, and then obviously he died, and then she just passes out. What happened there?
I guess she like used too much power or something.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know, dude. To be honest, I was just like, okay, I guess you died because, I mean, Palpatine did take a lot of their like life force because I mean he was already dying and he just goes wapa,
Mm-hmm.
and then he became himself again, kinda.
Kylo
So,
smiled.
I guess what little power she had left in her, she used it to defeat him, and then same with Kylo, the last power he had because he got sucked out too.
Yeah.
so
Very.
he sucked him out. He used the last power that he had to give Rey life.
He's finally happy though. You saw his smile at the end. He kissed her. He's like,
It's like, hell yeah, I wanted to see what those lips
and then he
taste
passed
like.
in peace. Like, unbelievable. And why did Palpatine keep shocking the sabers if she was deflecting it back at him? Just stop shooting the lightning from your fingers, bro.
Hey, dude, he didn't learn from Mace Windu. Because Mace Windu, he did the same thing. He was like, power.
He just shocked Mace Windu, and Mace Windu jumped, like fell off the window. No,
No, he was deflecting it at first.
for real.
Yeah, at first he was deflecting it, but then Anakin cut his hand off. So then that's when he shocks him and then throws him out the window.
But I know a lot of people had problems with her at the end saying she's Rey Skywalker.
Oh, dude, that was disrespectful.
That was not, bro. Tell me why you think that's disrespectful.
Because all of a sudden anyone can be a Skywalker
No.
after what
no.
the Skywalker legacy.
Hold on a
is?
second.
Do these fools not think about
hold
the
on.
chosen
Hey, yo,
one?
just put a camera right now, my guy. I can't believe this shit. The disrespect, you guys. Fool, she got trained by Leia. Leia's basically the mom she never had, bro. She got trained by Luke, so the dad she never had. And I guess that in Last Jedi, she thought that she was going to be like her daughter or something. So why not? And then Ben gave up his life for her.
But she's a Palpatine.
Don't fucking matter.
So all of a sudden, like, my last name is Salas. I'm all of a sudden gonna be someone else.
Well, Kylo is what's it called? He's basically Vader's fucking, is it grandson, nephew?
Yeah, his grandson.
And he's a Skywalker. Well, he's a Solo, but Skywalker bloodline. So why not?
Yeah, but that's
He's
Kylo.
connected to
That's
Vader,
not
though.
Rey.
But he's connected to Vader, though.
But that's not Rey.
What?
That's Kylo.
So
We're talking about Rey
yeah,
calling
but
herself
you were
Skywalker.
saying she's a Palpatine.
Yeah, she's a Palpatine.
But what does that matter, though?
She has Palpatine in her blood. She's scared to own up. Look, the reason why that is also so wrong is because Luke was like, don't be afraid of who you are. The Jedi's destiny is to overcome their fear. And she didn't even overcome her fear by saying she's a Skywalker instead of being Palpatine. So she's still afraid to admit that she's a Palpatine.
Well, I don't think she's afraid. All right, I don't think she's afraid. I just think it's one of those things like you don't want to be associated with that fool because he's a bad. It's kind of like if Hitler was your grandfather, bro. Would you want to be like, yeah, I'm a Hitler bloodline? No, it's that whole thing. So I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. He goes to their home planet too, buries the saber there, and then they both appear and they're like, say it. They gave her the permission to say it.
I really do, but Anakin didn't give the permission.
No.
Anakin, the Skywalker himself.
Fuck, that fool was a weakling. That fool was weak. He's basically Ben Solo.
I really do. The
He's Ben
general
Solo.
of the 501st Legion.
I don't know what the fuck you just said. What is that?
The old Skywalker himself, the chosen one, the prophecy, the one who brought balance
Exactly.
before Rey.
Exactly. He gave her permission to say that shit.
No,
He was, yeah, he did. She looked into the distance, then their spirits appeared and they
Luke.
nodded, bro.
That was Luke and Leia.
That's why.
Not Anakin.
But why do you need that guy's permission too? You don't need his permission.
The general of the 501st Legion.
What is that? It was 501st.
The one who
Legion.
led the march on the temple and destroyed the Jedi.
Oh my. Fool, Vader's basically Ben Solo.
Huh?
Vader's basically Ben Solo. Exactly the same. Because
Oh, I don't know about that.
exactly the same. Think about it, bro. Think about it, right? He turned evil, right? He was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the dark side. And basically, in the prequels, he was conflicted too. Because at the end, he ends up saving Luke and, kills Palpatine. I guess he got
Vader was way
revived somehow.
powerful. Way more powerful than Kylo, though.
How you going to know that, though?
Because he was relentless. Vader ruled with an iron fist. Kylo was a little bitch. He was conflicted all the time on whether to take a step forward or not. He tried to copy Vader.
So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
It's one thing
I
to
mean, the
idolize.
attitude's the same, as in, like, they were both conflicted, even though Vader, like, I feel like he was, more just, he actually turned, like, fully dark, but I guess when he saw
give a
Luke,
fuck.
when he saw Luke about to get fucked up, that's when he's like, nah, like, I'll save him because he's my son. So it's, that's what I mean, like, they're basically, that arc is the same, because Ben is exactly the same, except he actually killed his dad. Think about that for a second.
Well,
Vader
Anakin
didn't,
didn't,
even,
ha-
Vader
he didn't
didn't
have
even
a
have
dad.
Vader didn't even have the balls to kill his son, bro.
He didn't have a dad though.
So
He had no family.
kill your son, my guy. Kill your son, fool.
He killed Obi-Wan. Nah,
That's not-
he
that-
didn't
that-
actually kill him. He didn't actually.
I wouldn't know that, but I don't know those fucking. They don't kill him. Oh,
Well, he does die, but he gives himself up to the Force.
I mean, what does that mean?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's hard for me to explain it without saying something wrong because I'm not fully clear on that part either.
Okay.
I have to rewatch something.
That's all I'm saying. The Ben Solo's strong too. Oh, strong-willed like
Kylo
Vader.
Ren. No
Yeah.
chest Kylo.
Wait, one thing. Actually, now that we're talking about Vader and Kylo, that Matthew asked me that I would maybe you would know the answer to because I was confused too. Is Darth a title?
Darth?
Yeah, because Darth Maul, Darth
Yeah.
Vader.
It's what. So it's always. So let's say like Darth Maul, Darth Vader. Those aren't what they were originally known as. It's a title that's given to them by the Master. Because the rule of the Sith, ever since Darth Bane, who was one of the older Siths, he made a rule called the Rule of Two, where there were only two Siths allowed. So the Sith, their weakness was they always like relied on themselves, so they would end up destroying each other. So that's why the Rule of Two were a master and an apprentice. That's all there was. So Darth is the title.
So what's up with Kylo?
He wasn't given a Darth title, I guess.
So Kylo's like low tier.
Yeah, he's
Is
a
that what that
bitch.
means? Hey, what the? He. Like, how does that not prove that he's
Well-
like cruel too? He killed his dad, bro.
Well, he was conflicted the whole like arc until the end. So Snoke, well, in this case, Palpatine was probably like, you aren't worthy of the Darth or of the Sith title.
But I mean, maybe he's just as strong as Vader, but in the light side, my guy, and not in the
Not
the
about
dark
that.
side. Maybe.
He was strong, but I wouldn't say he was Vader
I mean, we'll
strong.
never know because he's fucking dead now.
I don't think he's Vader strong.
And then what's up with Sith? Who came up with that? Or when do you prestige to a Sith?
Well, that's more of like when you turn to the dark side of the Force.
You're a Sith?
Yeah. I mean, I guess Kylo is a Sith. I guess just not formally.
I'm
Because like I
confused.
said, he was conflicted.
So they didn't give
Because
him a title.
he was always scared to like actually commit like dark side actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would always like have a second thought about it. So I think that's what kept him from fully becoming a Sith. Because all he really was after was just being connected to Rey, if you really think about it. Like in the first movie, he was just obsessed with becoming the new Vader. But then once he learns about Rey, he becomes obsessed with her. Like finding
true.
her, having her join her.
No, but it's because he wanted to fuck. He wanted to smash
I mean,
this-
probably, because
Probably.
that whole last scene proved that.
Yeah, pretty
He's
much.
like, damn, I want a taste of that Rey.
Pretty much. Like he's like he wanted to turn her so she can be like, hey, let's fuck, and then that's it, bro. He was cool. You didn't like his arc?
I didn't like Rey's arc.
You like Kylo's arc?
Kylo, they did a better job with Kylo than with Rey.
No. Don't say better. Is it good or not?
It's good.
Okay.
It's
I
not
was about to
amazing.
say,
It ain't no Anakin.
what the fuck? How you gonna? You say almost absurd shit. How you gonna tell me? Listen. Hold on a sec. Okay.
Anakin and Luke were probably better arcs for me. Anakin because aside from the cringy shit he says sometimes, like, oh, I like sand.
I forgot all those lines, bro. But
I think it's that one. I like sand. It's either I like sand or I don't really like sand. Well, something like that. Something to do with sand.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Luke, the development of his character, going from just the farm boy and then to a Jedi in training, getting wrecked by Darth Vader, and then becoming a god in the Return of the Jedi. I think it was executed pretty well. Anakin, although there were cringy moments, seeing him rise as a Jedi only to fall from his losses. I thought that was really cool.
I mean, doesn't he
Kylo
just
does the same thing,
does-
but it's more back and forth.
doesn't he just slowly turn because Sidious is putting shit in his head?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah,
then
that's why I said
he's like, the Jedis are evil.
Like he starts to rise because like he's learning about his powers, that he's not just a basic Jedi.
He's like the prophet or something, right? He's
Yeah.
supposed to kill.
I don't think anyone directly tells him he's the chosen one until like Kenobi when they fight. Yeah, I don't think so.
He's like, you were the chosen one.
But
Kylo's is cool. I felt like, I liked it a lot because I feel like it's realistic because he wants, like, because in The Last Jedi, then they basically revealed that, like, Luke was training him and saw, like, darkness in him too, like in Vader, right? That's what he said, like in Vader or his father, something like that. No, not his father, because his father's Han Solo. Yeah, I think,
I don't remember.
forgot what the exact line was. The point is, yeah, that he sensed like darkness growing in him, so he like tried to kill him for like a second when he was like regretted it, but ever since then, like that's when he, I guess, went with Snoke and them, and he was always in the first one. He was like just a legit, I guess he's just a bad guy, but then yeah, but then the Snoke is telling him that he's too weak still, so that he knows what he has to do, so like he can fully turn, and that's when he realizes like my love for my father, I guess, or like my family's holding me back, so that's when he kills him, and then he thinks that that'll make him be like, all right, like finally, like I'm gonna turn the dark side all the way, but it ends up actually just fucking with him even more. Because he regrets it like instantly, basically, and
that's
then
all he thinks about.
He's just miserable. Yeah, the whole time he's just thinking like fuck, and then that's when that whole vision happens in the Rise of Skywalker, and then he dies, but like in a good way because he turned good finally and shit. God, that's beautiful.
Rise of Skywalker
7 out
could
of
have
10.
been better.
But that's true. It could have.
Felt like it's because it just felt like they jammed a lot of stuff in it. Like I feel like the Palpatine was what they try to have them carry them to entertaining the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, this as someone who's just watching it just as a casual would enjoy it. You know, just because, you know, the combat was kind of weird for me because like the part where they're striking and they just use the force and they stop. I was like,
You're like,
what was the point of that?
Yeah, very, yeah, nah.
I'm like, because the problem with that is, okay, so are we just gonna keep doing that the whole time? Like just stopping each other?
Because they did it one after another, right? First she did it, then he.
I was just like, okay, that was kind of weird.
So what would you have done if you were director, right? What would you have done? What would you have done differently that like would please the more hardcore, lore heavy people?
Well, I mean, well, this isn't answer your question, but I wanted to just say this. They also add new characters that they don't even like expand on their stories.
Oh yeah, like the chick in that one planet and the like where they're like taking C-3PO to read his
yeah,
mind.
I actually liked her. I was like, I want to know more about this character, and all of a sudden it's just like you only know a little bit. And then the girl that ends up talking to Finn is like, oh, I used to be a stormtrooper.
Oh yeah,
they didn't really talk much about her.
That's true.
But in terms of directing, well, first of all, I wouldn't have made Rey as this perfect icon because I mean, no one's perfect. I mean, even Anakin being as powerful as he was, he still had his flaws. Like he was OP as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't set him up to be like, I'm this god. Like I'm this.
I mean, he lost to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But with Rey, it was like, nah, nothing's gonna defeat me.
That's true.
The only time she gets defeated is because she was fighting with Palpatine. But even then, they just and they throw all these abilities at her too. Like with her healing, I was like, okay, like what don't you have at this point?
Pretty much.
Like sheesh. And then I remember Mark Hamill talked about this in a interview once too, where he was confused on why Rey was already had all this like force power with no training at all. It's the part where the lightsaber flies in Force Awakens. It flies through the woods, and she's the one that ends up catching it. Cause I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
how did she know how to do that so quickly?
how did she know? Like all of a sudden, like I said, it's one thing to like know you're connected, but then all of a sudden just randomly have all these powers.
I mean,
all of a sudden
isn't
knowing
that
how
like
to
a
fight.
basic thing though? Like just getting something to fly to you.
Well, but still, like not knowing, just doing it right off the bat
That's true.
without knowing that you have a knowledge of the Force.
Yeah, no.
And then
Now
she
I-
was able to fight and beat Kylo like nothing.
And Daphne's been training longer
Yeah.
than her.
You see the problem with that?
But she's strong though.
See,
Nah, I get you, bro. I get you.
like let's say if that happened in The Last Jedi after seeing like her train a bit more, I would understand. Be like, okay, you know, she's kind of developed her powers. But they just threw her right in there.
For real, huh?
That's why I said they just set her up to be this perfect icon. And that's the
Hey,
problem
now
I
you're
have.
fucking up my vibe on The Force Awakens, bro. God damn it.
They just, I didn't like the way they set up Rey. And that kind of is what like,
Like why this trilogy didn't really work
yeah,
for you
kind
that
of just
much.
left a bad taste in my mouth.
No, I can't. Now I'm be thinking of that because like Force Awakens.
Kylo was cool for me because, like I said, they show how conflicted he is. He goes from, you know, I don't want to do what Snoke says to like, maybe I still want to be like my grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to be his own self. And then you just see all these different kinds of sides of Kylo. And then at the end, he finally just says, you know what? The dark side is not for me. I love my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to be with Rey.
Oh, fuck with
But with Rey, it's like, I'm perfect. Nothing's going to fucking stop me. I have all these
she was able to
powers.
defeat Sidious, my guy.
Yeah, exactly.
ASAP.
And then just go.
Never mind, but Rise of Skywalker's like 0 out of 10. God, Jesus.
So it's just, it's Rey what ruins it for me. Because
So more of like if she was weaker throughout the movies and then at the end she was strong, you would be okay with that.
that
But
would
the fact
be
that she was
okay.
strong since the beginning, you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
how?
Because like I said, no prodigy just randomly has all these powers. Like it's something that they've either had knowledge of their whole life or it's something they've built.
Was Anakin strong?
Yeah.
Like when he was starting off with the Force?
He had a high, like, I forgot what it's called.
I think I know what you're going to say too.
But it was in Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon Jinn talks about like, he has a strong connection to the Force. But this dude wasn't just randomly throwing like Force powers out of nowhere.
Nothing's going to bug me. Because I know what you're talking. He says he has a high, like he's susceptible to it more or something,
Yeah.
right? But I forgot what the word he uses.
I don't know if it was midichlorians. I don't think it was midichlorians.
But he was when he was starting out, he wasn't able to do all that shit. Like send the lightsaber to him with ease.
No, he had to like go through training because like every other Jedi, he had to go through training.
And Rey had no training, man.
No, it was just wapa. I got all this shit. No master to train me. I have all these abilities I know how to use.
Oh my god! I came in here like praising these trilogy. Now I'm leaving with like a bad taste in my mouth.
You're just like, yeah, now I think about it.
It's still cool, all right?
Well,
they're
in terms
cool.
of visuals, yeah, they're really good. But in terms of logic, like how it was set up, I was just like, I don't know about that.
You know, one thing that I remember before the movie came out that I was like, I hope, or no, in the middle of the movie, when Rey, because they fought in that like water, when they were fighting right there before he had his vision
yeah.
with Han Solo, she just had previously seen herself like fully dark side, I guess,
Oh, yeah.
with the double saber, whatever the hell. So I thought I was gonna be like, damn, it would have been a sick turn if Kylo had gone to the good side, which he did, and then she goes to the dark side. And then I thought it was called Rise of Skywalker because technically he's a Skywalker. Well, he's a Skywalker bloodline. So maybe he was going to like kill Rey and Palpatine, I guess, at that point. Something like that. That would have been cool to see, I feel. Because like it would make sense with the title too because he's turning good. But didn't happen. So I was like, why is it called Rise of Skywalker? And you only find out to the end when she says she's a Skywalker or something.
Well,
Nah, like,
I don't know about
disrespectful.
you, but I felt like that Darth Ray scene was a waste. Like I feel like there was no point to that scene.
She just saw herself. That's it.
Like, cause when I saw it in the trailer, I thought they were gonna do like what they did in Empire Strikes Back. I think it was where Luke goes into a cave and he sees Vader, but it's like it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends up killing him. But when the helmet pops off, it's him in the helmet.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like that, but nothing happened.
She just saw herself, got scared,
And then wapa.
dueled for like 2 seconds, and she just went like, and she flew backwards, and that's it, bro.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I feel like there was no point in that scene.
I just hate how like Kylo was such a good character. I
Yeah.
feel like he could have seen more of him. I wish we could have seen more of him than Rey.
Kylo was way more interesting to me than Rey.
And now we're. I wish. Ah.
It's like I've ruined your view.
Okay, now I gotta revise my scores for all these movies. Force Awakens is like a 7. Last Jedi is like a 3. And then I still like this third one better than Last Jedi, so like a 5. That
Rise
makes
of
sense.
Skywalker?
Like a 50, yeah.
Yeah.
But not because of the lore thing, just because of like some of
The
the shit that
setups.
I didn't really catch that you explained to me. Just basically that whole thing that Rey was powerful since the start.
Yeah, she
now that
was
shit's
deemed to
bugging
be
me
this
because it's
almighty
true.
god. That's what I didn't like. That's what mainly ruined it for me. And like, I saw, like, I'm not gonna get too much into this because I don't really like talking about like more political stuff.
Mhm.
But one of the things they really wanted to do was have a woman to kind of take over the reins of the franchise.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's exactly what they said, but I know the idea was somewhere around that. But I was like, why does it matter?
For real, huh?
Like, I don't care if it's a guy or a woman. I just care that the
That it's
character
good.
is treated fairly.
Mhm.
Like, because let's say a kid watching this movie decides to idolize Rey. You know how bad that's gonna look being this perfect Jedi?
That's true.
Like, oh, I had all this talent from the start. I'm this
For
perfect
no
person.
training.
Like, I didn't need help.
You're scary how smart you are, you know? Sheesh.
So I was just like, I don't know.
And now it's wrapped up. Finally,
Yeah.
the Skywalker saga since like, I forgot what year it came out, like 70 something.
I mean, it should have been. They should have just let. Well, if it wasn't for the mess, it's because it was so messed up. This arc, like I had a little hope after Force Awakens. Like, okay, I'm gonna let it slide that she just randomly has all these powers from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe, they'll have a backstory to explain it all. But if they try to just dwell on the fact she's Palpatine's granddaughter, that's not enough.
Yeah, no.
And then that's another thing. They just threw that at us.
The Palpatine thing?
Yeah, that
For
she's
real?
her granddaughter. I was like, okay, well, they didn't even let us sink in that moment. They were just jumping from line to line, new, like, what the fuck moments.
I was just confused too, because I think when Kylo tells her that, is it when she's like in his study and they do that like
Yeah.
force connection
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, yeah.
Right? Before she like jumps on the jet and they leave?
Yeah.
Or Millennium Falcon, my bad. Damn, some people are going to hate me for that. Yeah, and that's when he tells her, but I was so confused because I guess I'm supposed to know that at that point that like she's connected to him because he's like, you know who you are. And I was sitting there like, I don't know who she is. And then he's like, Palpatine. I'm like, what the fuck? That came out of nowhere. Like, none of all those visions hinted that she was a Palpatine, maybe except the fact that like when they were both pulling that like cargo ship that was flying away or whatever, and she shot lightning out of her fingers. That was like the only thing that I was like, wait, she got like his powers or something. But other than that, how are you supposed to know? They just say the line and you're like, okay, she's a Palpatine, my guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they don't even let you sink in that moment. It's just like, okay, you heard that, now let's move on.
Like, it's supposed to be like a big revelation, right? Like, it's supposed to be like, damn. Man, no. Maybe that's why she was so powerful.
No, but like I said, you can't just dwell on that fact.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Because with Anakin, it's like, yeah, he's the chosen one, but he still went through all this training. He still went through, like, when the anime series, you'll see he went through a lot of struggles still. Even though he's proclaimed to be the chosen one, he's still doing a lot. Rise of Skywalker. So what's your final verdict on it? After, what was it before and what is it now?
It was like a 7 before.
Yeah, and then
now it's like a 5. But I'm telling you, I feel like it's not even because of anything that's supposed to bug me, like the fact that she has like, she can like heal. Well, actually, no, it does have to do with that. It's just because of what you said, that she's just too powerful. So now I just kind of killed it. And I mean, I kind of found it dumb too, how she just killed Sidious so fast. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like I said, the movie felt like pretty disorganized, uncoordinated. I said this on Twitter. It just felt a huge mess. Like, they tried to fit in so much into one movie. They probably could have made it longer and maybe done a better job. But in terms of like visuals and just something you want to just have fun with, it's good to watch. But in terms of like logical character development, there's a lot of plot holes that bug the shit out of me too. But I mean, I feel like that'll take up way too much more time to talk about. And we've already gone long enough with this podcast. But my verdict, I mean, even after talking about this, it was a 6 originally, but I think I'm going to go with a 5.
Makes sense.
Because
like a halfway, right? Like, not complete garbage, but not super good either.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like the sceneries, it was amazing. Like, they had some great camera shots. But in terms of story, this wasn't it.
It's crazy. Like, I got my mind changed. I came in here like guns blazing, ready to defend like this trilogy, and I left being like, "You're right. She's just too strong."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how other people feel. I'm sure there are different reasons, but that's my main reason for not liking it. The whole, I get she's the main character. I just didn't like how they set up her storyline.
Yeah.
It's just, it felt so like it didn't make sense. But I mean, that's pretty much all I got to talk about. This was a very long podcast compared to what we're used to. But I mean, we did skip a week, so I think it's appropriate that we have a longer episode.
And if you guys don't like Star Wars, I'm sorry, but I feel like we had to talk about it because it was lingering in both of our heads. We just had to get it out of there because, it's just...
But I would still say go watch it because, your opinion can be different from ours. Yeah, exactly. You may actually not be bothered by that, what I just mentioned. Hopefully it doesn't taint your whole taste of Star Wars, because there are some great moments in the Star Wars universe. This just happened to be one of the least favorites for me. I wouldn't go so far as to say actually, I don't know. It's definitely down there in the worst, but I wouldn't say it's the worst.
Okay.
It's just probably one of them.
Hopefully they don't fuck up the next trilogy.
I hope there is no trilogy. I hope they stick to just the anime series that's coming out next year. That is what I'm excited for.
Okay.
So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. It has been Leo and Pablo. Be sure, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening, soon it will be watching.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe, like,
comment.
Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of The Rise of Skywalker. If you've seen it, go ahead and go watch it. This isn't sponsored. I'm just saying because you might have a different opinion.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
See ya.